Hey there, berries, welcome to my 11.17 support tier list. We're going to have some big patches coming around the corner, including some, minor ones in this one. So because of Worlds is happening, which is the end of season tournament. That's happening with all the teams around the world. And Riot likes to cause a lot of drama with the patch notes to make the viewing experience more excitable when that happens. So expect in the next tier list and the next one after that potentially to have dramatic shifting. Well, already heads up, there's already been some dramatic shifting in the tier list that I've done for this one, so stay tuned for that. Nerfs to items, but nothing there affecting supports. Rune buffs and item buffs, but also not affecting support. So let's just go straight into the champion nerfs. We have a Leona nerf, but the nerf is actually pretty minor. Overall, Leona is going to be taking probably around about 3 to 5% more damage when she pops a W early on into the game. Later on, it's probably not going to be noticeable at all. So minor Leona nerf. She was extremely strong anyway. A nerf was definitely going to happen at some point, but honestly, the nerf is pretty weak. So yeah, she's still going to be very dominant in terms of like a tank option pick for you to take in solo queue. You also have, in terms of now champion buffs, we have a champion buff for Nami and Sona. So the Nami one is interesting. So her base health has gone up by 15, which definitely helps her early laning phase if she does get caught out by, a Leona, for example. They also reduced her mana cost on those later level points, but honestly, that's not really a problem. You are suffering with mana very early on anyway, so them reducing the mana for the later points is fine, but it's nothing crazy. It does help Nami's laning phase out a tiny bit. You're going to be saving about 5 to 10 mana here and there, which may mean one extra cast of another spell, which may mean the difference between staying alive or getting a kill. But overall, solid Nami buff. That's actually that the 15 health start is actually, for me, more appealing than the mana cost. But I can definitely see the mana cost helping a lot of the newer players to League, or some people, starting out in ranked on the lower end of Iron or Bronze. Sona's change is a bit more different. We've got attack speed buff here, crit damage buff, and souls increase drop rate on the if you actually land the kills on the minion. Now this does help support Sona a little bit, not a huge amount, but it does affect a little bit. So the soul drop rate, when you're killing the minions, if you're like the last person there, that's obviously going to help you, but this is also a buff for AD carry Sona. So if you have some experience playing support Sona, you can maybe start playing Sona where you're actually playing her as an AD carry now. So that's going to be an interesting option. One heads up is that in the item nerfs for this patch, Divine Sundra did get nerfed by -5 AD. It could be interesting looking at other builds for Sona that don't necessarily revolve around Divine Sundra. It might be possible to do a little bit more of a crit direction build with like rapid fire cannon and infinity edge, maybe. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. We're going to have to do some testing to make sure that all works. But yeah, that is probably potentially going to happen as a slight build shift on Sona. There are some champion adjustments coming into this patch. The most interesting one that you should probably be aware of is the Amumu. Amumu is now going to have 2 charges on his Q. That is the bandage toss of him going in. It's a set 3-second cooldown before he can do another Q, and the Q recharge time is still quite a long time. People were asking me, do you think Amumu is going to be played as support? I doubt it. I think that he's still going to be quite squishy. I think it's basically going to be the equivalent of like Leona going in, but still having to do with minion like blocking the Q potentially. And it's going to be very difficult to get out, but you're still particularly squishy. So overall, I don't think we're going to see Amumu as support. And right now, if I had to place him anywhere, it would be, let's just say tier 5 for now. But, I'll be happily surprised if anything different does happen there. Alright, so now we're going to be heading over into the tier list. I did make a lot of shifting. Tier 5 is pretty much the same. Feel free to pause the video if you want to have a look at some of those icons. Behind me is Set and Nunu and Teemo. I don't recommend you play any of those champions in solo queue. Now we have some shifting here in tier 4. I did move Rel from tier 3 to tier 4. I think that was it. Yes. So that was the only one a champion I moved into tier 4 Rel. I'm not sure how. I accidentally left her in tier 3, but yeah, she's pretty bad. So don't play her. Tier 4 it is. Moving up into tier 3, we've got some significant shifts in what I think is viable for people in pretty much iron to low plat. So the Seraphine, I've moved down from tier 2 to tier 3. Same with Lulu. And same with Xerath. Champions that moved up from tier 4 are Thresh and Swain. So some champions got a promotion, some of them got a demotion, a lot of shifting in the tier 3 and tier 2 and some in tier 1. So reasoning here is based on more on win rates and just usability of the champions. The Lulu nerf wasn't huge, that happened last patch or the patch before, but in terms of playing her with an AD carry, I've decided that if you're playing a support in, say, bronze, and you're picking a Lulu to buff a hyper carry, it's probably not going to work because your bronze AD carry is not going to be using Lulu's kit properly at all. So save Lulu for when you get into high elo, when you start hitting like the maybe high gold, low plats, maybe even further than that, then Lulu becomes a much better champion to play with, like the Cogmore in the veins. Seraphine, I think she's okay. I don't think she's anything special though. I haven't seen her do particularly amazing lately. Her ultis can be a huge difference, but that feels like basically what it comes down to. She's actually generally played more as an AP carry role in the bot lane as opposed to an actual support. Thresh got a promotion just because I felt like tier 4 was probably slightly too harsh. Only slightly. He got that nerf not that long ago, and if you're playing Thresh in silver minus, then you probably shouldn't be playing him. I think once you start hitting gold, Thresh can start being good. People will start clicking his lanterns, maybe. And you'll be able to utilize his skill shots a bit better. And it's kind of the same thing with the Swain. Swain can do particularly well in the lower ELOs, and his damage and burst, if he can catch someone out in the laning phase, is pretty high. And then he moves into that sort of like AP kind of tank later on into the game to give your team a little bit more of a frontline. Moving up into tier 2. We have the UWU tier, but with less UWU. So Sona got promotion. the buff, the rework that she had was definitely a buff. She's definitely moved up into tier 2. I was even considering moving her into tier 1. If you are unsure about which champion here to take from tier 2, I'd actually recommend Sona. I think she's the strongest one in this tier 2. Yeah, so Sona definitely got stronger. Definitely seen more play rate. Her win rate has definitely gone up. So if you're looking for a new enchanter to play and you haven't tried Sona out yet, then give her a go. Karma received that change also, but it's affected her more in a solo laner. I don't feel like she's got any worse in the support role, but she definitely got stronger in terms of the solo lane role. So if you are used to playing Karma and you get filled into like top or mid, maybe you can probably do Karma relatively okay. Sona also had that promotion from tier 3 to tier 2. She is definitely a very good option if you are playing with an AP carry in the bot side. I feel like she is going to be slightly stronger after this patch. Nothing too crazy, but just enough just to push her over the edge. Build to be decided still, but I'm pretty certain that her win rate will go up a decent amount after this buff. And moving up to tier 1, we got a new fish in the tier 1. To join up with the other enchanter there are Soraka. So up there you got 2 tanks, 2 mages, and 2 enchanters. Leona did get nerfed by -5 armor and magic resistance on her W, but honestly that is not a huge problem for her anyway. She still has the damage reduction on her W. She's still going to be insanely strong. Otherwise, if you don't want to play Leona, Nautilus is a pretty good option as well to get those dash AD carries locked down. He does a pretty good job at that. Or if you just want to bully your lane, Bran and Zyra are still the perfect options for that. Or you can kind of do that still with Soraka as an enchanter. She is kind of like a pokey mage at the start of the laning phase and then transitions into that healer. Or if you just want to play something all-rounded, where you got heals, you got slows, you got extra damage, you got crowd control, Nami is a perfect option for that. And with her buffs, you know, she puts her in a solid tier 1 spot in my opinion for now, particularly if you are in that low plat minus kind of ELO. I think if you're hit high ELO like Diamond, you might have to start looking at other champions to play, such as the champions that haven't really shifted from my plat plus tier list, which is the Bard, the Thresh, you know, or the Yumi or the Lulu. The Yumi or the Lulu is probably a much stronger pick than Nami once you start hitting Diamond. But yeah, for Nami, if you're plat or below, for sure, definitely still a pick that should see you swimmingly doing well. That was a really bad constructed sentence. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the tier list. I hope you guys take something from it and learn something new about this patch. If you are looking for support updates in the coming messy patches coming up, they will be messy, there will be dramatic changes, so be sure to subscribe. If you're interested in Smite, I've also been doing some Smite gameplay, which has been pretty fun. The community over there has been pretty awesome. So if you want to see some noob Smite gameplay, then be sure to subscribe and watch me slowly rank up to Challenger in that. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day. Hope the tier list helps you out, and see you in 2 weeks for another tier list. Take care. Bye.